Welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to be learning Python programming language. So we'll be learning Python as a programming language in this video. This video is going to be a series of videos, so we'll be having from part 1 to probably part 15. And then for each part, I'll be creating a new file here under this code. I'll be creating part 1, part 2, and downward. Finally, if you have not understand what I've done so far, I've set up my system to start writing Python code. I'll be writing code in this Sublime Text Editor. This is my Sublime Text Editor. This is where I'll be writing my code, and I'll be running my code in my terminal. So if you don't know how I've configured these things, I have a separate video on that. So whether you intend using your system or you intend using your phone to follow along this series, there's already a video on that for you to use to set up your system or your phone to start writing Python code. So in this video, we'll be looking at variable. So this is the part 1 of the video. So what is variable? Variable in Python are used to store data that can be manipulated or retrieved throughout a program. So we use variable to store data. Some people can also explain variable as a container that you put something inside, right? You put something inside a container. So variable is like what you use to store something. So that is a simple explanation of variable. So, but we store data to a variable. So like as I said earlier, I'll be creating files here. So for part 1, I will just right click on new file and call it part1.py. Now mind you, in a real life situation, your file name should be related to the code that is inside, or it should be related to what the program do. So that is what you should name your file as. But because this is a tutorial video, that's why I'm calling them part 1, part 2, part 3, just like that. So like I said, variables are used to store data. So you can say something like name equals to Isaac. So always remember to press Ctrl S after writing your code. So what I've just done, this on the left hand side is variable, while this on the right hand side is value. So you use this equality sign here. This equality sign, you see this sign here, equal to sign, you see it here. You use this sign to separate the variable from the value. So anything at the right side of this sign, of this, some people call it assignment operator. You can also call it assignment, you can call it equal to sign. So anything that is at the right hand side, it is the value. Anything that is the left hand side is the variable. So in this case, name is the variable, Isaac is the value. You can still say something like age equals to 20. So age is the variable, 20 is the value. You can still say something like is underscore allow equals to true. So is underscore allow is the variable, true is the value. Or you can say something like profit equals to 20.5%, or let me just say 20.5. So profit is the variable, 20.5 is the what? Value. So what is the importance of knowing variable? One of the important is that it allows us to store data. If I should come here and say print is a built-in function in Python that is used to output something on the screen. So if I should say print and I put name here, so let me go to my terminal and run the code. So this is my terminal where I'll be running the code. So to run that code, I will say Python space part1.py. So when we run it, it outputs Isaac on the screen. So this is Isaac on the screen. So which is this Isaac that I'm printing out here. So one important of knowing variable is that it allows us to store data. 2, it helps our code to be readable. So when you are seeing this thing, at least you can read it. You know, okay, this variable used to store profit. This one is like probably whether you allow somebody or not allow somebody access to a resource. So this is allow. This is age. You already know that it's storing age. This one you know that it's storing name. So it makes our code to be readable, and also it allows us to operate on different input. If I should come here now and say name equals to James, you remember initially I set name as Isaac, but now I'm setting name as James. So let's run it and see what it outputs. Once I come to my terminal, I will press up to recall what I entered last, the last memory. I'll press enter. You see it output James. But initially I store it as Isaac, but now I update it the name to James. So James has overrid this Isaac here. That is what just happened. So it allows our code to it allows us to have flexibility when writing our code. We can operate on different inputs. Also, we can manipulate different data. So these are some importance of knowing variables. So now let's come into the rules. What are the rules in naming variable? What are the rules? Number one rules is that variable must start with a letter or an underscore. So variable name must start with a letter or an underscore. If you notice everything we wrote here, they all start with a letter. I can also say underscore name equals to Peter. So if I say underscore name equals to Peter, I can print underscore name here. Ctrl S to save it. Come to our terminal to run it. So you see, when we run it, it outputs Peter. So we are dealing with rules in naming variables. So number one rule is that variable name must start with a letter or an underscore. So, and mind you, in terms of letter, it must not start with small letter. I can also start it with capital letter, but I prefer starting it with small letter. It's a personal choice. When we also get into class, you will see other cases on that. So, but let's stay on where we are. So another rules in naming variable is that variable name cannot start with a number. So you cannot say, maybe we say something like, you cannot say 9 or 2 underscore name. You cannot say it. If you save it, let's try to print it. We'll put it here to print it. Come here to run your code. You see, it gives you this error in line 14. So when Python show you error, it show you where the error is coming from. That is one thing that makes Python programming very good. So this is line 14, the error is coming from. So it show you that, see, it says syntax error, invalid decimal literal. So this is line 14. Let me zoom in. So this is line 14. So you can't start a variable name with a number. Number 3, variable name can contain letter, number, underscore. So you notice this one contains letter, this one contains underscore, but it does not have number. I can say underscore 5 here and copy this and go to print it. Before that, let me correct this error by removing this thing here. So I want to print out this is allow underscore 5. Let's run the code. So you see, it showed us true. Because why? Variable name can contain letter, which is this, underscore, and number. But what did they not say? That means variable name cannot contain what? Symbols. So you cannot come here now and put brackets. You cannot put star as part of a variable name. You cannot put, let me say, percentage sign as part of a variable name. You cannot put, so you know there are some things you cannot just put as part of a variable name. So to make it professional, just follow the rules. Number 1 rules, variable name must start with a letter or an underscore. Number 2 rules, Variable name cannot start. Now, they do not say it cannot have number. You can put number at the end, but they are saying that it cannot start with a number. Number 3, variable name can contain letter, number, and underscore. So it can contain letter, it can contain number. No, I just remove the number from here, and it can also contain underscore. Now, number 4, variable name are case sensitive. Let me reduce this size. What do they mean by case sensitive? Case sensitive means that it is conscious of the case of the word. So if, for example, you write name here, you see this name here is the same thing as this name here. But if I should make this first N as capital N, these two names are no longer the same. According to the rules of variables, these two are no longer the same. So if I should say, let me print name here, but I enter small letter N, I press Ctrl S to save, come to my terminal to run. Before I run it, let me clear this screen. I'll press CLS to clear this screen. I'll press up to record the last memory and press enter. You see it display Isaac on the screen. So because why? This name is Isaac. This is what we are printing here, is Isaac. So, but if I should change this first N to capital N and save, now let's see what it will show us. You see, it shows James now, because why? Variable name are case sensitive. Case sensitive means if one character is uppercase, you know, we have uppercase, we have lowercase. So if one character is uppercase and another character is lowercase, or let me say, if you, as you put this name here now, everything is lowercase, and you come here and make this first one capital letter, it won't work. Like, it's not the same. They are, the two of them are two different variable names. That is what they mean. Now we'll go to the 5th one. The 5th rules in naming variable is that we should avoid using reserved Python keyword as our variable name. So you don't need to use reserved Python keyword as your variable name. But the problem is that as a beginner, how do you know these reserved Python keyword? How do you know them? If, for example, I say 4 equals to 23, 4 is a reserved Python keyword. We use 4 in terms of looping. So it does not work. You cannot use 4 equals to this. If you say if equals to, maybe if equals to true, it does not also work this way. Because why? If it's a reserved Python keyword, you cannot use it. So we have some other reserved Python keyword like class. We have another one like, let me see, in. In is another reserved Python keyword. And we have so many Python. Def is also another reserved Python keyword. So there are many of them. But the challenge now is that as a beginner Python programmer, how do you know the one that is a reserved Python keyword and the one that is not a reserved Python keyword? My simple solution to this is that if you notice all these things we have been writing, you will notice that the variable name, although depending on your text editor you are using, but this Sublime I'm using is making the variable name white in color. So if you notice if you compare them, you notice some similarity among them. You notice this variable name, they are white in color, but look at this variable name, they are all changed. The color is not white. See? The color is not white. So once you see that the color change, you know something is wrong. So you see, I put the same equal to sign here in all of them. You notice something is wrong. But if I should come here and say maybe, let me say profile equals to, you notice the profile is white in color, but all these, they are all different colors. So this one, they are reserved Python keyword. You don't use them as a variable name. And you can try one of them. Another reserved Python keyword is print. So you cannot say print equals to something. You cannot say print equals to maybe Mike. Then you will now say print bracket print. It won't work. It it won't work. So you don't use reserve Python keyword as a variable name. So this is where we are going to end this part 1 of this video. I'm going to see you in the part 2.